is In the Know for Thursday, September 22, the 265th day of 2022. There are 100 days left in the year. Good morning, MB. Guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose, live online at K105.com, via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, and the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll have an update on the headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. Big news locally all the way out to internationally. Plus, we will say goodbye to summer and hello to fall. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Did you know that there is a preferred way to take a pill?
Sure. No, not really. I don't know. I have a preferred way.
You might say with water, because most people have to have a pill to take water. But actually, the optimal way to take a pill is lying down on your right side. If you lie down on your right side and take a pill, a study published says that it took only 10 minutes for the pill to dissolve when it was taken while lying on the right side. That was better than standing or sitting upright, which was 23 minutes, lying on your back, which was about 23 minutes, lying on your left side was 100 minutes.
That's weird.
I find it weird as well, but is it because of the shape of the stomach? The way, the proximity of where all that fits together, and, but 100 minutes if you're laying on the opposite side,
that's weird.
10 times more, so that's kind of hard to believe. He is the 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio News Hawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Clarkson. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm curious. I'm curious to know who was more excited this morning when they saw the ride set up for the Honey Fest, Alea or you?
Well, they started yesterday about 10 a.m.
Yeah. But this morning, apparently, there was a huge difference from yesterday afternoon to this morning, because I got a report of how elated she was to see the progress. But since it's right there in your front yard, I thought maybe.
Clarkson's definitely buzzing this morning. There's no doubt about that. No, I was out last night a little bit after dark, and they had started to move in, but there were probably about 2 more rides. I like one yesterday, clearly. They hadn't given them enough room up there yet, so they had to park in front of the fire department. So when I was driving by, and I was like, I don't think you're supposed to go there. But then by the time there's I think the cars that go in a circle, you gotta have that one.
They got special permission.
I didn't know if Chief Kane had seen it.
They know where to go. Oh, and then she also got a ride. She got a look at the trailers with the hay bales on them today.
Those they were setting up like Monday. Yeah.
Hay bale. She said, I want to go on a hay ride.
Well, is she going every day?
Oh, she's got a week-long pass without a doubt.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
She got connections to Clarkson?
She got connection or 2 to Clarkson, and she is participating in Farmer's Day today. She's the most blinged out farmer that you'll ever see.
I didn't get a photo. I meant to.
She's one of the few people you'll see who her farmer attire involve a tiara on a cowboy hat that lights up. Yeah. So she's got all of it. She's got princess. She's got farmer. She's got country girl. She's got city girl. She's everything.
Tomorrow's Orange and Blue Day, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And I had her a shirt made.
And if you're a student in the Clarkson School tomorrow is also Hat Parade Day. So that's what I was informed of this morning. Tomorrow's Hat Parade Day. So, well, why are you looking? You're scrunching your nose. I heard it straight from the source this morning. So,
but that's only kindergartners.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what she told me.
Well, if that's the case, the hat is going to have to be moved. So
that's what I thought.
Looks like someone has a busy Thursday night ahead of them.
I asked her if she was using her same hat from last year, and she said yes. So maybe maybe she's going to be a kindergartner for the day tomorrow. I guess we'll have to figure it out. Perfect weather for the Honey Fest. Perfect weather for today, actually, as hot as it was yesterday. mild today. The fall and cooler weather is arriving all in the same 24-hour period. It was still so warm last night, around 7 or 8 o'clock. Still kind of warm, still kind of muggy. It was still around 80 degrees, and then the temperature fell overnight, and really it's not going to warm up much today. We'll see a high of 75, decreasing clouds tonight and 51, and partly cloudy 72. Tomorrow morning's the high tomorrow, the low temperature that you wake up to tomorrow could start with a 4.
Interesting.
It may tick 49 tomorrow morning early, which will, if you're going to be out for a walk or a run or a might feel a little bit cool. President Biden declared at the United Nations yesterday that Russia has shamelessly violated the core tenets of the international body with its war in Ukraine, as he summoned nations around the globe to stand firm in backing the Ukrainian resistance. He basically didn't pull any punches. He said that Putin deserves to be condemned, and he called it a brutal, needless war, and they were trying to bolster Ukraine's effort to defend itself. The Putin administration announced yesterday, or regime, or whatever you want to call it, they signaled that they're going to call up a bunch of military reservists in Russia. And what did that do? That spiked a bunch of one-way airplane tickets out of the country. The large numbers of Russians rushed to book one-way tickets out of the country while they still could yesterday after Putin announced a partial mobilization of military reservists for the war in Ukraine. Flights filled up quickly. The prices of tickets for remaining connections skyrocketed. So to give you an idea, the Moscow to Belgrade flights were operated by Air Serbia, which is the only European carrier besides Turkish Airlines to maintain flights to Russia, despite a flight embargo, quickly sold out. The price for flights from Moscow to Istanbul or Dubai increased within minutes before jumping again to $9,200 is the equivalent for a one-way economy class fare. Wow. That's how bad people want out of Russia, because they think things are going either from bad to worse, or they think, if I'm going to get called up and have to be part of this, then I'm out of here. The other big news yesterday, the Federal Reserve again increased interest rates, trying to fight inflation, another 75 basis points. So continuing to try and get control. What's that mean? If you've got a credit card balance, you're paying more. If you've got an adjustable rate mortgage, you're paying more. If you try to get a new car loan, you're going to pay more. It's just the way that it's going to be. And it takes a while, by the way. It takes a while for these interest rate adjustments to filter through the economy. So it's not like they do it today and then we see a difference tomorrow. It takes a while to kind of slow those things down. And there probably won't be the last interest rate increase, but the highest interest rates right now, highest they've been in 14 years. A Litchfield woman has been killed in a single vehicle accident in Hart County. According to state police, yesterday afternoon about 2 o'clock, troopers responded to the 4700 block of North Dixie Highway near Bonneville. Police said the preliminary investigation indicates a 26-year-old Hope Davis was traveling south when, for whatever reason, her vehicle left the roadway, struck a tree before catching fire. She was pronounced deceased at the scene by the Hart County Coroner's Office. Tragic to hear of that fatality yesterday. A few weeks ago, I guess you can say we softened the blow a little bit on what we thought was likely to happen. If you travel the US 62 corridor between Litchfield and Clarkson, you are well aware. And if you're headed there for the Honeyfest and you haven't been through there in a while, you're going to see an idle construction zone. As you travel and go through the old road, you'll see, boy, someday that's going to be a really nice and straight road through there, bypassing what we all commonly refer to as Beehive Curve. But as we mentioned, even going back to the spring, when it was first known that the contractor who had been hired to do multiple projects for the Transportation Cabinet was having financial difficulties. So we told you, like, okay, basically this is going to stand still until they figure out what's going to happen, because, courts are involved, bankruptcies are involved. But now we do have some additional information that Transportation cabinet officials have been in discussion with the bonding entity involved in the project that was awarded to Charles DeWeese Construction. The construction company is currently in bankruptcy proceedings, and the intent is to hire a replacement contractor as soon as possible, which will be the responsibility of the bonding company. So when you have bonding insurance or you're bonded, it basically you're saying, if I don't do the work, you'll figure it out. It's kind of like a big elaborate insurance policy. So bonding company representatives are visiting the US 62 work site and other affected project sites to scope the contract they will be taking to potential bidders for picking up the bankrupt company's incomplete jobs. Now, here's what we tried to readjust your expectations for a few weeks ago when we mentioned this. This isn't going to happen this year. So, I mean, you just imagine how long it takes to line up a contractor. They have to come in, they have to figure out how much work is involved. They have to go through the quoting, the cost estimate process and present that to him, basically starting not necessarily from scratch, but from an accounting standpoint, you're starting from scratch because you still have to do, there's the request for proposals go out, cost estimate comes out, you've got to, formally bid it. The bid has to be awarded. So you're definitely looking into 2023. We can be hopeful it could be spring of 2023, but I would imagine there are also not companies of the necessary size to be able to do this work that are sitting idle with nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Typically, any successful business like that has their next job kind of in the pipeline. So if they're working on a job now, they kind of know where they're going next, or seasonally where they were going
next job too. Probably,
I guess the best ones know what their next job could be. So,
well, I mean, the transportation cabinet also has another big project that starts in next year. With the bypass.
Yes, that's right.
And that's another thing to kind of keep in mind.
I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that hurts. I don't know, but I will say that you can read the full release at K105.com, but the transportation cabinet says they are aware and they appreciate the hassle that it's causing people in that general area. And they will do whatever is within their power to try and resolve it in a timely fashion. A Brownsville woman who pled guilty to a charge related to her role in the U.S. Capitol insurrection on January 6, 2021, has avoided jail time. 57-year-old Reva Vincent was charged February 14th on various charges. She was arrested on March 8th, pled guilty to the charge on April 22nd, agreed to a plea deal in May, and now has been sentenced. The ordered to serve 24 months of probation, 60 hours of community service, $1,500 fine. So that seems to be the extent of it for her. In addition to the Honey Fest happening this weekend, also happening this weekend is the 14th annual Holt Home Community Day over in Breckinridge County. And this event has really, really grown, and how much in the last 14 years, how much this home has changed is quite remarkable. If you've been with the show for a long time, you know that my first grade teacher, Miss Susan Dyer, is who holds a very special place in my heart. And I've had the honor of speaking at a couple of book signings for her, introducing when she's got 2 books about the Holt House and Judge Joseph Holt that came out. So I did talk to her last week and exchanged email. So she sent me a photograph of my Christmas gift to her when I was in first grade that still is on her organ in her home. So her initials, SD. And so they've been on her organ, I will presume, for 50 years.
Wow.
And so she snapped a photo and sent them to me when we were talking. And then you can see the photo of she and Eddie also there. They recently celebrated a big 50th wedding anniversary within the last couple of years as well. So anyway, it's remarkable that widen that shot one more time, Sam. So I just want you to see. It's the photograph celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, sitting right next to my Christmas gift to her from 50 years ago. Okay? All right? I mean, are we...
The picture's even behind it.
Not 50 years ago, but you know what I mean. 42, got some change. So what did you say, Sam?
I said the picture's even behind it.
That's right. That's right. The initials didn't get... So, but I did say, I'll take credit for presenting the gift, But Teresa Buckles should get credit for selecting the gift, because I'm sure that I didn't. I'm sure that I didn't really have anything to do with it. I probably was able to carry them in there and say, "Here you go." There they are. So anyway, it's good to hear from her, as always. It's also, a couple of years ago, I showed up. I was prepared to go a year early for her book. Do you remember this?
I do.
She asked me far enough in advance to speak at her book signing that I was prepared to go 12 months before I was actually needed to go. So it's kind of weird. Kentucky Republican gubernatorial candidate Kelly Craft has selected State Senator Max Wise as her running mate, and that happened, officially last evening, making an early commitment to a political partnership with the conservative lawmaker that she hopes will boost her primary bid next spring. Newer state law that allows gubernatorial candidates to wait until after the primary to name their running mate should they so choose, but she went ahead and took the proactive statement of locking in her political partner 8 months before that primary. So she enters. They are, of course, in a busy field. You got Daniel Cameron, you got Ryan Quarles, Mike Harmon, Savannah Maddox, Eric Dieters.
Dieters, the Bulldog.
I'm not a fan of facial hair, period, but his facial hair looks interesting.
I think he needs to go one way or the other.
Yes,
right?
it's this in between that.
Well, it's also because he has dark hair.
Yeah,
and then the beard is like a blondish gray, brown gray.
It's just a lot.
Do it
or don't. Yeah.
I need you to commit. I need you to commit one way instead of trying to straddle the fence. I'm glad you mentioned it, because there was something about it that wasn't adding up to me. I thought there's something not exactly right about that. But I was not brought in to be a style consultant for Max Wise. But if he needs my help, I might have a half hour next Thursday.
We could just send him a razor.
That I could squeeze him in. Attorney General Daniel Cameron announced yesterday that he is joining a 24-state coalition of his counterparts around the country, urging banks and credit card companies not to track firearm and ammunition purchases. In a letter, the Attorney General urging banks and CEOs of 3 major credit card companies to avoid tracking and monitoring firearms and ammunition purchases through the merchant category codes. Cameron warns that the use of these codes may violate consumer protection laws, antitrust laws, and the privacy rights of Kentuckians. Red, this morning, we just told you about a traffic fatality yesterday over in the Bonneville area that claimed the life of a Litchfield woman. State Police and Bowling Green Post are also investigating a multi-vehicle crash that occurred in Barron County Tuesday night that left 3 dead and 2 others injured. The Barron County Sheriff's Department was contacted State Police around 8 o'clock on Tuesday night, asking them to respond to a crash scene in the 8100 block of Happy Valley Road in Cave City. So it involved a Freightliner tractor trailer and was headed southbound, and there were some local people, operator of a GMC pickup truck who is a 76-year-old David Hayes of Cave City, 2 passengers, 54-year-old Katie Yoder, and 55-year-old Daniel Yoder of Horse Cave were pronounced dead at the scene by the Barron County coroner. So deadly week over in that general area of our region. 5 of 6 Kentucky football players cleared by a grand jury last year on burglary charges have sued a Lexington police officer who directed the investigation of a March 2021 incident at an off-campus private party. Reuben Adams, Utah McLean, Vito Tisdale, Joel Williams, and Andrew Phillips allege in lawsuits that Officer Corey Vinlove knew probable cause did not exist to charge them and embarked on a journey to frame them for a crime they didn't commit. The suits filed in U.S. District Court also named Officer Donnell Gordon, Police Chief Lawrence Weathers, and the Lexington-Fayette County Urban Government as defendants. Only Tisdale, who is injured, McLean, and Phillips remain with the number 8 Wildcats, and then one of the people involved decided not to participate. If I recall correctly, going back to last year when this was making headlines, it seemed to be that the powers that be, or the people who were close to the situation, kind of had the consensus that this was much ado about nothing, but this officer, for whatever reason, was being either very, very thorough, or he was being overzealous in trying to bring a case to the grand jury with these players. Now, I don't know which it is. I wasn't there, so I can't actually say. But it is interesting a year removed that they are filing suit because in addition to, so it's one thing to be hassled and say, well, my civil liberties were harmed, but a couple of them potentially might have suffered name, image, likeness damages. And so now all of a sudden we're swimming in a world where my name, image, and likeness is worth money while I'm a college athlete. I could have gotten some name, image, likeness deals, but because of the stigma you've placed on me as a result of you overplaying your hand. So I don't know if this has merit or not. I think we're kind of an overly litigious society sometimes, but I do think that this is an interesting bellwether to see how this is going to go and the ever-changing landscape of NIL and what it means and et cetera. So again, I don't have any of the answers, but I find it to be a little bit interesting. And this, if I go back to the Field of Dreams game, you'll remember the next day I was just raving about Joey Votto and how I'd never really paid that much attention to Cincinnati Reds legend Joey Votto, and they had him mic'd up, and I really enjoyed his commentary. And now, then he had a season-ending injury a month or so ago. Well, last night, this is last night, right? Great American Ballpark, Joey Votto, who's injured, can't finish the season on the field, decides to roam the stands and be a spectator. He's taking selfies with kids. He's cutting up. He's wearing a Barry Larkin jersey who autographed the Barry Larkin jersey? Do you know it's right there on his...
I would assume Barry Larkin.
Barry Larkin probably
Barry Larkin's
did.
on the Reds broadcast crew.
Okay, so that made sense. But so, I mean... watching the Reds can't be a great experience right now just because they're just not very good. But if there's a chance you go to the game and Joey Votto is suddenly an ambassador, and instead of playing first base for the Reds and hitting home runs, he just roaming around and might sit down beside you at the game. I just find that really great. I think it's wonderful.
It was
That's
cool.
neat.
There was a video that the Reds posted of him talking to one of the kids, and one of the kids says, "I have 18 of your baseball cards." and he looked at him and said, 18? Like, wow. That's unbelievable.
So he's one of two things. He has a great future in broadcasting as soon as he wants to retire.
He's been joining the Reds booth
or
almost once or twice a week.
He could be mayor of Cincinnati, whichever he chooses to be.
I'd vote for him for president, but he can't be.
He's
Canadian.
He's Canadian, but we can get him elected mayor of Cincinnati, can't we? Just like him and who's the other guy?
Joe Burrow?
No. The talk show guy.
Jerry Springer?
Yeah, Jerry Springer. He was mayor of Cincinnati.
It did end well for him.
No, it did not. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way here on In the Know.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start October 17th. Call 270-259-1540 or visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
Clarkson is buzzing with activity as Honeyfest returns to Kentucky's Bee City. Events kick off Wednesday and run all week long. Be here for live music, carnival and hay rides, food and craft booths and bed turnings Thursday, Friday, and a full day of fun on Saturday, including the annual Honeyfest Parade and Karaoke Contest. There's all kinds of things to do in Clarkson for ages 1 to 100 this week for Honeyfest 2022. For a full schedule of events, visit ClarksonHoneyfest.com.
Mornings just got doubly delicious at McDonald's with the 2 is always better than 1 deal. Right now, get a sausage McMuffin with egg or other breakfast faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Get your choice of a sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McMuffin, sausage biscuit, sausage McGriddles, or hash browns. Buy one, get one for $1 only at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Take your remodeling project to the next level and transform an ordinary space into an extraordinary one with Masonite doors and atrium windows from Future Designs. With Masonite and Atrium, you get countless design options that give you unmatched flexibility, energy-efficient glass choices, hardware, and more. So don't just remodel, transform with Masonite doors and atrium windows. built around you. Start your transformation at Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield. FDBM.net.
Amazon is introducing its newest round of Fire 8 tablets. Of the 4 new models, the Fire HD8 retails for just $99. According to Amazon, these tablets are lighter, thinner, and faster than the previous generation, as well as cheaper than Apple iPads. All models are available for pre-order and are expected to start shipping next month. YouTube has a new revenue-sharing model for creators of popular short-form videos. The company is trying to compete with TikTok, which continues to gain market share. YouTube's growth rate in the second quarter was the slowest since Alphabet started breaking out the unit's revenue in 2019. And the soon-to-be-sold Phoenix Suns could have some serious financial heavyweights from the tech world lining up to buy them. Among them, according to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, Amazon founder and ex-CEO Jeff Bezos, and the widow of the late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, Laureen Powell Jobs, could be potential suitors to purchase the Suns. Tech Report.
Today, the autumnal equinox arrives at 8:00. I've seen different places. I've seen 8:03. I've seen 8:04. You celebrate whichever one you want. You want to call it 8:03? Call it 8:03. You want to call it 8:04?
Split the middle. 8:03:30.
8:03:30. I mean, we deal in half minutes all the time, so knock yourself out. And then by the time you wake up tomorrow, it'll be pumpkin spice everything. I mean, everywhere you look, you got pumpkin spice wallpaper, you got pumpkin spice deodorant, you got pumpkin spice air, you got pumpkin spice everything. And today is also Dear Diary Day. And today is also White Chocolate Day.
Ooh, okay.
Today.
I had my white chocolate raspberry carb master yogurt last night. Good stuff.
You did? Mm-hmm. While others were having popsicles, you were having ogurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ogurt.
We have taken over the last few months. We have taken a much greater interest in Reddit's "Am I the Butthead" forum, and we've renamed it to Butthead just because one, it's a more fun word and it's not as problematic. But one of the more recent ones, and the reason that I like it is that I think that it delves into the nuance of social challenges that we face. You know, earlier this week, it was about mother-in-law wanting to lick an ice cream cone. So we said, okay, that's not going to work. But one of the more recent ones has to do with a man who confronted a stranger for sitting next to him in an empty train car when the entire train cars, like a subway car, all the seats were available. Guy was sitting there. Guy gets on the train and sits next to the guy rather than sitting on the other side or going to the other end and spreading out. And so basically he took it to Reddit and said, am I the butthead for telling the guy, why do you have to sit so close to me?
Nope.
When all the chairs are there? And I'd have to say, no, you're not the butthead.
No, you're not. But you also had the choice to get your butt up and move somewhere else as well.
Yeah. I mean,
to avoid, the confrontation of it.
Okay, so.
Hey, you there first. You move your seat. That's what I would tell you. Get up. You move.
Let me rephrase. That's the move I would do. I would just be, I'm just going to move somewhere else because I don't want to have the hassle of bringing it up with you but am I missing, is it?
Maybe he's Sheldon Cooper and just needs his spot.
Have I drawn the short straw and for humanity's sake, I'm the one who's supposed to try and get him to amend his behavior. Like this is the guy that if you're in the men's restroom at the urinal and there are 12 urinals to choose from, he comes and chooses the one next to you.
Okay, I don't know if I should say that out loud.
No, you can't do that. I think.
Mm.
Well, now I'm curious what you want to say.
Well, I think I would pee on it. I mean, in that
probably
case,
not.
but
Yeah.
now as far as the train or the subway car or whatever, unless, I had my laptop and everything out, like it was going to be a longer trip and I was working or something like that, I don't think I would say anything. Now, I would huff and puff while I was getting up. But if his mama has not taught him any better at this point in his life, I don't know you saying anything is going to make a difference.
Yeah. That's the dilemma. Because we're supposed to be looking for opportunities in life for multiple things, to help people, correct people, just look out for people, be the helpers. So is that the moment, though, that I'm supposed to say, I don't, or at least ask, is there a good reason you chose to sit right next to me?
It's the same thing as like if you're in a parking lot. Like don't, and it's an empty parking lot. Don't park right next to somebody else. Give your space.
Right. By the way, the urinal rule is at least every other. You at least got to leave one, unless they're all full.
Unless you're at a sporting event or like a big event or after a movie. That's kind of my two.
That's right.
Because then it's the busy.
When given a choice. Yep.
Use the stall even if it's not busy.
So I agree. He's not the butthead for this. Now, I did run across a list of, these are being labeled as life hacks from people with questionable morals. So I think all of these are a bad idea and poor behavior. But I guess what I'm trying to explore is, do we know people who would do this?
Probably.
Like, do we know people who would do these?
Well, I just said I would pee on somebody.
Let's run through them.
You did.
This list could be interesting for me.
Well, but you're not supposed to use it as a weapon. To someone who's not equipped, honey, it's not. You're not
if I
supposed
were.
You're not supposed to weaponize.
If I were in your shoes.
Sword fighting.
This is going to take a turn.
Not supposed to weaponize. All right, here are life hacks from people with questionable morals. Instead of paying by the hour for parking, drop by an auto shop, ask them to rotate your tires, and say you'll swing by in a few hours.
I mean, do you need your tires rotated?
Say that again?
Instead of paying by the hour for parking, go to an auto shop, ask them to rotate the tires. Now, what does it cost to rotate the tires? I will presume it must be less than parking, because they don't just do complimentary tire rotation, right?
I mean, unless you get an oil change or something like that, then they might do a complimentary tire rotation, but
probably only if you bought the tires there, surely. Okay. All right, let's move on. Do we know someone who would do that? I do. Someone just came to mind on who I think would do that. I'm sorry. But you know them.
oh gosh.
If you're hungry between 6 and 8 a.m., you can pop into a busy hotel and get a free breakfast.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You know, the Holiday Inn Expresses and the Hamptons and all that have the breakfast that's included in the room.
Yeah.
Because most of those people working are not going to, like...
Right.
Sometimes, I have been to hotels, though, where they're like, can I see your room card?
Really?
You have? That's because you look sketch.
I guess.
You look like you don't belong. I'm like,
your
that guy couldn't stay here. Sir, we're going to need to see your room card. But then, so then what do? Do you spin a yarn and say, I was invited to stay over by one of your guests?
Or just say, I left it in the room.
And then, or they can say, well, then what's the name of the guest? I'm sorry, I didn't get
Smith.
her. I didn't get her name.
Smith. Oh. It took me a second on that one.
If you break an appliance and you're broke, buy an identical one, credit card, of course. Swap them out and return the broken one for a refund. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I know someone who might consider doing this.
Yeah, me too.
I would hope they would not, because it's just flat out theft. But I guess so is eating breakfast at the Holiday Inn Express when you didn't pay to stay there that night.
The eggs aren't that good at the Holiday Inn Express.
I know, so definitely. But it's weird how the same person keeps coming to mind with these. If using a self-checkout station, weigh all your fruit as apples. And apparently apples are the cheapest fruit.
Oh, really?
Well, the density of apples compared to the price. So, because, apples are pretty dense by weight because they're so solid. And then lying about your kid's age at an amusement park or buffet can get you a cheaper price. Yeah, until they out you. How old are they? 7? I'm not 7, I'm 8.
Yeah, exactly. And I think those people deserve that.
Yes, they do.
I would love to witness that because kids are the best.
Well, I already know if you pulled one of those on Alea, she would 100% call you out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she would definitely. And she's a truth teller.
Yes, she is. She'll rat herself out.
She also is she does not like negative consequences.
No.
Like when she, I'll tell this story. We got to get to a break. But last night, she was getting her outfit for Farmer's Day together, which involved her cowgirl hat. And she came in, she was like, "Oh, I've just realized I don't have a hat pass." So she's like, "I can't wear this cowboy hat to school tomorrow because I don't have a hat pass." And so she was just like, well, I'm just not going to...
Is that a thing at Clarkson?
Yes.
It is.
So it's a reward that they can earn is a hat pass. So she said, and I don't have one. And she was just fine with it. She's like, I won't be able to do it. But then we inquired, on Farmer Day, is a hat allowed even if you don't have? And we were given the green light to do that. But she was like, the consequences are, I didn't earn a hat pass, so I can't wear a hat.
And she double-checked with me this morning, getting out of the car. She said, Miss Amy said yes, right? I said yes.
Very good. So anyway, don't follow the advice of any of those life hacks or you'll be one of those people. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Today's Did You Know? Right around the corner. You're on In the Know.
Clarkson is buzzing with activity as Honeyfest returns to Kentucky's Bee City. Events kick off Wednesday and run all week long. Be here for live music, carnival and hay rides, food and craft booths and bed turnings Thursday, Friday, and a full day of fun on Saturday, including the annual Honeyfest Parade and Karaoke Contest. There's all kinds of things to do in Clarkson for ages 1 to 100 this week for Honeyfest 2022. For a full schedule of events, visit ClarksonHoneyfest.com.
I grow corn and beans, and I raise cattle. What I do is good for people, good for Kentucky. And what I don't do is good for the environment. I don't let fertilizer, chemicals, manure, or good farmland run off into the creek. And you know what? Turns out that also makes me more productive and more efficient. If you're a farmer, develop an ag water quality plan. It's never been easier. Go to eec.ky.gov/agwater to find out how.
The Department for Aging and Independent Living within the Kentucky Cabinet for Health and Family Services wants to promote the Aging Disability Resource Center, a statewide toll-free phone line that provides older adults, individuals with physical disabilities, caregivers, and professionals with information and assistance to promote independent living. Call to learn about home-delivered meals, in-home services, respite care, caregiver support, and Medicaid waiver programs to help, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Call 877-925-0037. Kentucky, we will get through this together. Paid for by the Department of Aging and Independent Living, the KBA, and this station.
A crying baby is impossible to ignore, but a quiet baby can be easy to forget. Every year, dozens of children lose their lives because otherwise attentive adults forgot they were in the back seat. It only takes a moment for a car to heat up to dangerous levels, even on cooler days. So get in the habit of always looking in the back seat and use reminders to ensure baby is always with you. Where's baby? Look before you lock. Paid for by NHTSA.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. A mix of sun and clouds this afternoon as we only climb into the low to mid 70s for your highs. It will be breezy at times with gusts near 25 miles per hour possible. For tonight, mainly clear skies as your temperatures fall down into the 40s across the region. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
Turn it up. Did you know, during the entire run of the Gilligan's Island television show, it was never revealed if that was his first name or his last name.
Interesting.
Just called Gilligan. So We're reasonably intelligent people. Let's figure it out. I believe that it had to be his last name. It had to be his surname, Gilligan.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know of no Gilligan people who are named Gilligan as their given name. I think Gilligan could easily be
Gil,
a surname. All the Gils I know are Gilberts. So I've never met anyone named where their given name was Gilligan, where their family named them Gilligan. So I'm going with it has to be a surname. Does anyone have a better hypothesis? I mean, I'm open on the issue. Is there another hypothesis?
I got nothing. I couldn't even tell you if I've actually seen an episode of the show.
Love the show. Yeah.
You never.
Google doesn't even know.
A little before my time.
But you've never seen it in reruns or anything? You've never seen them make a transistor radio out of a coconut?
My parents have probably had it on.
Oh, sorry. He's William Willie Gilligan. So, Willie Gilligan.
But it was never revealed during the show.
No,
so
it
how
was
did
not.
That has to be conjecture on someone's part.
Well, it's gilligan.fandom.com.
Sam, the biggest thing you need to know is they packed very odd for a 3-hour tour. Because if you go back and watch the show of all the wardrobe items that some of them had, some of the accoutrements that they were traveling with. We've been on some extended cruises before, and we didn't pack as much as some of them did to go on a 3-hour tour. So that's the biggest takeaway from Gilligan's Island for me. Sam showed me right after the show yesterday that EA Sports FIFA 23 game, so the World Soccer game for EA Sports, they have woven Ted Lasso and AFC Richmond into the video game, which I think is neat.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Fictional football team.
Jamie Tart, Roy Kent, they're all in there too.
Fictional football team.
Now, they better have the chant in there.
Well, do they have to put a lyrics warning, or how they put the lyrics warning on music?
Rated
do they have to
M
put
for
an
mature.
Explicit warning on there if they put the chant?
He's here. He's there. You want to finish it?
He's everywhere. But anyway, I think that would be fun. It's not probably going to make me play it. If I walked by and someone were playing it and they were playing with AMC Richmond, then
your mother is
interesting. See, she knows.
She
got
would.
all the
Yeah, I was
answers.
going to say. I knew that she would have watched the show.
They found the clothes. Interesting. Did they find the clothes on the SS Minnow? Like, were they in the cargo hold of the SS Minnow, or they find them buried? Or it seemed like there was also a lot of quicksand on Gilligan's Island, which gave me the idea that quicksand would be a bigger problem in life than it's really turned out to be.
Gilligan's Island would be on like TV Land, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because that would be on usually Andy Griffith or Love Boat.
Yeah, I liked TV Land until they started putting Roseanne reruns on there. I'm like, oh, we'll find something else to watch. Axel Foley, all original Beverly Hills Cop cast members are returning for the Netflix sequel. Judge Reinhold, John Ashton, Paul Reiser, even Bronson Pinchot, who played cousin Balky Bartakamus on Perfect Strangers, on the upcoming sequel called Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley. They're all back. I think this will be good. Have you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop movies?
No.
Neither of you have?
No.
Oh my goodness. You all have been missing out. Some boat or plane crashed. Okay. Very good.
Your mom cracks me up.
I was reading this morning that Meghan Markle, before they were going to leave Great Britain following the sayonara to QE2, that she had penned a letter requesting a one-on-one meeting with King Charles III to, quote, clear the air before she and Prince Harry leave the UK. Neil Sean, who is a royal reporter, claims his source told him that the Duchess of Sussex made the request in a formal letter and that the meeting would serve as an opportunity to clear the air, put the rights from wrongs, and explain some of the rationale behind what they've been doing over the last 2 years. So no one knows whether the letter was received well and they acted upon that, but at least she's trying to
bond that bridge,
so to speak.
I think if she went through the official channels, isn't that one of those that would be extremely frowned upon if they did not
go through the proper channels?
Right.
Yeah, probably. But now,
and like if they did not have the meeting with her since she did go through the proper channels,
the king is her father-in-law. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it seemed like her going a direct pinned letter to him would probably be the proper channels or reasonable. So I guess we can take that from it. But then I did read yesterday, and I didn't get to it. King Charles is one of those people. And by one of the, I've always known he was one of those people. And I said earlier this week, I said, the monarchy will be up to Will to save, because Charles is just going to be a temporary. King Charles will not sit on a toilet that anyone else has sat on before. Even when he travels, when he goes somewhere on state visits, someone has to go and install a toilet where he's going to be staying that no one has ever used.
Even him?
I think he can use his own toilet.
Okay.
But no one can use his. No one can have used the one he's going to use.
Uh-huh. Just wait until he eats some,
yeah, right.
some bad food.
I hope somebody serves him something, really.
We got to get to a break. We'll come back and finish it up for the morning. You're on In the Know.
If you're stuck in the wilderness and everything around you is thick with trees, True North is what gets you out. In much the same way, when you're navigating the confusion of society, your spiritual and relational True North will guide you. Jesus gave us His True North when He said that the two greatest things we can do are love God and love our neighbor. He equated the two, which means when the world is spinning out of control, the way through it is to cling to objective values that never change, like truth, love, and humble sacrifice. Then seek what's best for the people around you. That's a good approach to life all the time, but it's especially beneficial when the path forward is unclear. Loving your neighbor means using your strength to protect the weak and your time, talent, and resources in a way that fills society with opportunity, value, and purpose. And who is your neighbor? Jesus was asked that question too. He said that they're all around you, your coworkers, your family, your friends, even your enemies. Everyone is struggling with something, and you can do something to help, no matter how much or how little you have. You have something good to offer your family, your friends, and your community. When life feels chaotic and unpredictable, you'll find peace in objective values that never change. Connect more deeply to your faith and give deeply of yourself. Love God and love your neighbor. That's True North. For Focus on the Family, I'm Jim Daly.
Hello?
Hey, stranger.
Oh, hi. Thank goodness it's you. I was afraid to answer the phone.
Why? What's up?
The credit card companies are after me. They want me to make payments and the calls never stop.
Ouch. Been there before, but I got help from Trinity Debt Management.
Trinity?
Yeah, I called and right away Trinity contacted my creditors and got my interest rates cut in half. They ended all the late fees and over-limit charges, and they stopped those annoying phone calls.
Bet that was a relief.
Yep. Then they put me on a plan that consolidated my bills into one easy monthly payment. That way, I paid off my debt fast while saving thousands.
Nice.
Trinity even showed me how to plan and meet a monthly budget. So now I'm debt-free for keeps.
Wow. Do you still have their number?
Sure. Here, write this down and call 1-800-990-6976.
Can you repeat that?
1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
If baby could talk, she'd say a lot. You'd know what she's thinking and what makes her happy. But unfortunately, baby can't talk or remind you you're the one taking her to daycare today. And she won't speak up if you drive straight to work like any other day and never think to look in the backseat. Every year, dozens of kids die from heat stroke in cars. No one is perfect, so set a reminder and always look before you lock. Where's baby? Paid for by NHTSA.
I grow corn and beans, and I raise cattle. What I do is good for people, good for Kentucky. And what I don't do is good for the environment. I don't let fertilizer, chemicals, manure, or good farmland run off into the creek. And you know what? Turns out that also makes me more productive and more efficient. If you're a farmer, develop an ag water quality plan. It's never been easier. Go to eec.ky.gov/agwater to find out how.
I see you, but you're gone. Telephone a doctor, I'm not okay. I go to the
MB's point to ponder for today. All right, so, we have a lot of Chandlers because of Friends. We have a bunch of Dylans because of 90210. So pop culture, like Lynn's, we get. So with that in mind, shouldn't there be a bunch more people named Elvis than there are?
I went to school with an Elvis.
You did?
I did.
I know one here locally. But I mean, at the rate that we name kids after other celebrities, for the popularity, I mean, you really don't run into too many Garths. You don't run into... So, are there some celebrities that just go to a different level?
Yeah, I think so.
That people go, well, that would be sacrilegious to name your kid that.
Ask my mom. I mean, now she's, I think, because she was
older
always...
than Adele.
She's
older than Adele
My mother
Atkins.
is 27
by
years old.
30 days. She was born 30 days before Adele Atkins was.
No, but I know she's was always the one that she always didn't like when she'd go, when you're on vacation and you look at the keychain racks or the whatever it is, she'd never find her name.
Yeah,
because
I guess
Adele.
so.
And now I don't know if she's found it yet, but I think she's hoping that now that Adele has become big, that there will be more Adeles.
Maybe
because of that.
But really, I mean, I should know more people named Elvis.
Mm-hmm. Costello, Elvis Costello.
I mean, I don't know him,
Duran.
but I mean, so as popular as he was when he was so popular, and has still, I mean, we're still making movies about him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's one of those things that, that the names, your child's probably not going to live up to that name. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like, maybe it's just too...
Well, then nobody in Latin culture should name their kid Jesus.
Well, yeah, then there's that.
I'm just saying. So maybe they use a different methodology for deciding.
I don't know. I'm still thinking of the Elvis I went to school with.
Yeah? Well,
yeah.
Today's on television tonight, Celebrity Family Feud, Season 8 finale on ABC. Norman Lear, 100 Years of Music and Laughter on ABC as well. NBC, the Season 3 premiere of Law & Order Organized Crime. And do the Elfies play tonight? The Browns?
Yeah, against the city near West Virginia.
Aren't they now the Elfies?
Yeah, and that's been a thing for a while.
It has?
Uh-huh.
You weren't on the day that we talked about. That's
been a thing for a while.
Well, they want to put it in the middle of their field. Yeah, the big ears.
I don't know. It just looks like the Keebler elves. That's what I think of.
Just doesn't really make any sense to me.
Well, I mean, that city doesn't make a lot of sense.
You mean the Mistake on the Lake?
Uh-huh.
I could go for some of those cookies.
Today's highlight in history, this date in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issued the preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. In 1776, during the Revolutionary War, Captain Nathan Hale was hanged as a spy by the British in New York. In 1975, Sarah Jane Moore attempted to shoot President Gerald R. Ford outside a San Francisco hotel, but missed. The first Farm Aid was held this day in 1985 in Illinois. Friends debuted on television this date in 1994.
Oh, yeah.
Birthdays today.
This is what you need on your show here. Get you, up there.
Is
Another co-host.
Is that a Shar-Pei dog, or was that a...
I think it was just a brown lab, wasn't it?
I had wrinkles.
Oh, it's his birthday, too.
Right.
So there you go. There's an early. I know you're moving into that part of the segment. So there you go. Happy birthday to that dog.
All right. Get along, little doggy. Tony Basil is 79 today. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. 79.
Good year.
Like one of the first videos that I ever saw on MTV, the artist is now 79. Mark Phillips is 74. That's Captain Mark Phillips, who Tom Hanks played in Captain Phillips.
Really good movie.
Yeah, it's good. I'm the captain now. David Coverdale from Whitesnake is 71. Sherry Belafonte is 68. Debbie Boone is 66. Andrea Bocelli is 64. Joan Jett is 64. Scott Baio is 62. Catherine Oxenberg is 61. Mystical is 52.
Dennis Cook probably going to be celebrating today then.
Because of Andrea Bocelli?
I know he's a big fan.
Or Catherine Oxenberg.
Maybe Scott Baio.
Dennis loved Chachi. Tommy Lasorda, born this day in 1927. Let's go to chart toppers. Gene Vincent, number 1, 1956, with Bebop Alula.
You're going to be getting a text message from him very soon.
Last evening, he and I were exchanging Abraham Lincoln quotes.
Just cause?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like things that Abraham Lincoln said about the internet.
Oh.
Hang On Sloopy, number 1 by the McCoys in 1965.
Classic pep band song.
Say, is this a big thing like at Ohio State?
Yes.
This is kind of their thing. And this is their Sweet Caroline?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Band plays it, and it's their Moni Moni.
Okay. Are the
or Grove Street.
The McCoys from Ohio? Is that why?
I don't really know the story behind it.
1974. OMJ, number 1. With I Honestly Love You.
I honestly love you.
Everybody stay awake. Stay awake. Stay awake. Billy Joel. Tell her about it. Number 1 in 83.
When she can't be with you, tell her you wish you were there.
Now, apparently, it was just one of those things that one of the staff arrangers begged the director to start playing it. When they played it, the crowd loved it.
Just became a tradition, huh?
Between the third and fourth quarter.
Baby, Baby, Baby. Number 1 in 93. Check that. 92.
But apparently it's played at all of the Cleveland, like the Guardians play it, the Browns play it, and the Cavs play it as well. So it's just kind of...
They don't play it at Cincinnati, Ohio.
No, we have our own song.
When I look at you.
You remind me, Usher in 01. So this song 21 years ago today. If this song is now old enough to drink.
I think it was drinking then.
Man, probably.
This is why I just can't get with you.
All right, and let's go to... Gotta play our fellow Kentuckian. Katy Perry, number 1, Teenage Dream in 2010. A dozen years ago today.
So this song's in middle school. If the other song could drink.
This is a middle school song? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a tween.
Yeah.
I guess that's
it's almost a teenager.
MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. An unfilled vocation drains the color from a man's entire existence. An unfilled vocation drains the color from a man's entire existence. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather, and fun. If it's in the Twin Lakes, it's on.